Hey everyone. In this video, I'm going to answer which is the better growth stock to buy, Snowflake or CrowdStrike. Interestingly, they're both down over 60% off their highs, with Snowflake being down 64% and CrowdStrike being down 60%. That's why I think a lot of investors are kicking the tires around these growth stocks and asking if they should buy this dip here. So I thought it'd be interesting to compare these two growth stocks and answer which one is the best growth stock to buy. So the first thing I'm going to compare is revenue and revenue growth. Looking at this metric, they both have similar revenue levels, 589 million for Snowflake, 637 million for CrowdStrike, but CrowdStrike has delivered better growth over the last few years. You could see the slope of this line much steeper for CrowdStrike versus Snowflake. And going forward, I'd say the prospects for revenue growth are better for CrowdStrike in the near term because industries are pulling back spending wherever they can, discretionary expense. I feel that CrowdStrike is more protected because it's selling cybersecurity, which is more necessary than what Snowflake is selling, closer to data analysis, data management, which, if you're comparing between cybersecurity and data, cybersecurity is a more urgent need for enterprises. They are less likely to pull back spending in that area versus in the area of data. The next metric I wanted to compare these two on is operating profit margin. Now, these are younger stage growth companies, so I understand if their profit margins are negative, but what I want to see is improvement, and I do see that with both. Snowflake has improved its operating profit margin from negative close to 90% all the way up to negative 41%. Very nice upward trend line there. CrowdStrike as well has improved its operating profit margin from negative 50% all the way up to negative 8.48%. And I'd like to see this, and I expect to see this from companies like these, where it's a lot of upfront investment to build out these services, and then they get to leverage that investment and start selling these services, which then starts to generate profit from that initial upfront investment. So I expect to see this, and I am seeing this improvement in operating profit margin. So check marks for both of them. Although I will say CrowdStrike better because its profit margin is closer to positivity. The next thing to compare these two on I chose is cash flow from operations to sales over the trailing 12 months. This, in my opinion, gives a deeper understanding of the profitability of younger stage growth stocks, especially tech stocks, because it removes the impact of stock based compensation. And you could see they're much closer when we went from operating profit to cash flow from operations, because that removes the non-cash expenses. Looking at that way, Snowflake is positive, very nicely positive at 26.41% and moving very nicely upward in this metric. CrowdStrike similarly very positive, 42%, and also moving up very nicely according to this metric. So each of these two growth stocks doing a great job in improving their ability to generate cash flow from the sales. So that's a really good sign. That's something I like to see. The final thing I will compare these two growth stocks on is valuation. And I chose to use two metrics this time. I typically use one, but this time I chose two. I chose the price to free cash flow and the forward price to sales. And according to both of these metrics, Snowflake is more expensive than CrowdStrike. According to price to free cash flow, Snowflake is at 94, CrowdStrike is at 40. According to price to sales, Snowflake is at 12, CrowdStrike is at 7. Between these two valuation metrics, I place a greater weight on price to free cash flow because for me as an investor, free cash flow is more important than sales. It's easy to generate sales if you're willing to lose money, right? Anybody can generate sales if you're willing to lose money. I can go buy a $700 iPhone from the Apple store and bring it to you and tell you I'll sell it to you for $100. Right? I can make a lot of sales in that way, but I'll be losing a lot of money. For that reason, and a little more complicated reasons, that was a very simplified example. I prefer the price to free cash flow over the price to sales. And looking at that, Snowflake is more than twice as expensive as CrowdStrike, trading at 40 versus 94, according to where Snowflake is. So, based on valuation and the metrics that I looked at earlier, and given that CrowdStrike has better near-term prospects, more of a necessity for enterprises rather than Snowflake comparatively, and a much cheaper valuation. All things considered, if I had to pick one of these two growth stocks, I would pick CrowdStrike as the best growth stock to buy between these two. All right, that's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you want more content just like this, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.